Hi. So I've got something to encourage you with today, or this is at least for one person, and I hope you that one person hears this. It might be for more. But I was on the phone with my friend just here recently, and this precious friend of mine, and we were having a conversation, and I was encouraging her with something that I know, like God let me know somebody else needs to hear this. And so basically, okay, so this friend has had something on her heart to do, okay? It has been something that she has been for weeks now swirling around in her head. I told her, like, you've just been circling the mountain, going round and round with this thing, trying to make sense of this thing, because here's the thing. This is the issue. So she has this thing in her heart, and many of us, someone else out there, you've got something on your heart that you feel like, God, is this God asking me to do this? You know, like, why do I keep feeling drawn to this thing? Lord, is that you? And you feel like it is him, but here's the thing. But you're trying to make sense of it with your natural, rational mind, right? You're going round and round, but how would we make this work? How would we afford this thing? Like, how would we find the people that we need? You know, the this and the that, right? This is what we do, right? Like, we count the cost a lot of times. Some of us, I got an idea, and you go to the drawing board and you start figuring out, all right, how do we make this thing happen? You know, like, how do we get the funds and the people and what are the plans? Let's draw up the plans, right? But here's the thing that I've learned with God, that when it really is him and he's calling you to something and he's stirring you up and drawing you to do something, if you can afford it, if you can figure it out in your own might and power, it's probably not God. And you know why I'm saying this? Because I've walked with him long enough and stepped out on things long enough to know that if you can do it, he won't get the glory. And he's never going to ask you to do something that won't require faith, and he's not going to ask you to do something that will bring you glory and not him glory. He's jealous for his glory, and he won't share his glory, right? So he wants to glorify himself through you. But the way he does that is by calling you to step out on something that's going to bring him glory ultimately. And the less you can make it happen, the better. Because that means he gets to do it, and he gets to be glorified. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, if you can explain how all of this happened, how you made it all work, you're getting all the glory, and he gets none of it. And this is the other thing I've learned with him, is that when he is drawing you to do something and he's pulling you out into the deep waters, it's going to require faith. And without faith, it's impossible to please God. And many times we hold back and we don't do the things, we don't take steps to do the things that we feel drawn to and we're feeling led to do because of all the things I just said, because we can't afford it, because we just don't know how it's going to work. We can't make sense of it. But I'm telling you, that's the time to really press in, because that is when you're truly going to have to walk in faith. And if it's finances that's holding you back, I'm telling you, whatever God has called you to, he's going to provide. You don't have to check your bank account to see if you can afford to do the thing that you feel God is calling you to do. That's never an indicator of whether you can fulfill and do the thing he's calling you to do, right? If you do look at your bank account and you look at all these natural things that you have to determine if you can do it, then you've limited yourself. You've limited God, and you've limited yourself because you're relying on yourself. If he is the one leading you to do it, he's going to provide for you. And just like with Elijah when he said, go to the brook Cherith, I have commanded the ravens to feed you there. They're going to feed you not here before you go. They're going to feed you there. This is the other thing with God. If you're waiting until you have everything that you need to do it, you're waiting on the right people and you're waiting on the finances and all those things, and then you'll take the step, well, then it's not going to be God, because the provision comes as you step out and you start heading in that direction, right? Again, it all boils down to faith. If you wait, if you're over here saying like, I'm not going to do that thing until I know I can do it, well, there's no faith involved. But I promise you, if it is God and you take that step of faith out and you start heading in that direction, the provision will meet you there as you head out, because it's going to be a step of faith. And as you just purpose in your heart, that's what you want to do, is you just position yourself as a willing vessel and you just say, yes, Lord, I will do this thing. And then you can confidently, you should have confidence, and even if you don't, you can confidently at that point, or without confidence, go forward and say, I trust you, Lord. If this is really you calling me to do this thing, then I trust that you are going to provide everything I need for it. And he's going to open the doors, and you can just pray like, Lord, thank you. If this is really you, I say yes. I'm going to present myself as a willing vessel. And I know, God, that you are the God of the immeasurably more than all I could ask or ever think or imagine. So I trust that if this is you, you're going to provide everything and even more than I need to do this thing, because it's never just about you. It's always about other people as well. It's always so much bigger than what you can imagine, than what your little pea-sized brain can comprehend. It's bigger than that. And you'll never know that unless you take that step of faith, right? So that's what I want to encourage you with, is that stop trying to figure it all out. Stop waiting to step out until you have it figured out. Stop waiting to step out until you've got the money that you need for it, because you're going to get in his way and you're going to limit him. He's the source. He's the provider. When he calls you to do something, he doesn't expect you to pay for it. He doesn't expect you to fund whatever it is he's called you to do. He just expects you to step out and say, yes, I'll do the thing. And then he provides. He funds the thing, right? And so as you just trust him for that, that's what opens the door for the provision to come. But if you keep looking at your bank accounts and you keep looking to who you can get to give into this project, and trying to count up all the different ways you can fund this thing, you're going to limit God. You're going to be in his way. You've basically put a ceiling over your head, and the best you can do is whatever you and whoever you can get to provide do. But if you'll just take the limits off God and be like, blow my mind with this thing. Blow my mind. I'll ask, and even look further than this thing. Say, Lord, I thank you that you will. I ask and I receive the provision that I need for this, but I also ask and receive more than enough, because I want to be a blessing to all of those around me. And I want to honor you. And so just take a step of faith. I promise you, if you can do it, it's probably not God. I would venture to say it's likely not God, because it requires no faith. If it requires no faith, and if you can do it apart from him, it ain't him. But if you've got something in your heart that you absolutely can't do it without him, and you absolutely don't have what you need to do it, and you don't even feel equipped to do it, I'm telling you, he's equipped you if he's calling you to it. The best place to be with God, for him to get the glory, is to not look to yourself to be able to do whatever it is he's calling you to do, and to not look at your bank account, and to not try to rationalize it in your natural mind. God loves faith. Just say, yes, Lord, if it's you, I have no idea how you're going to do this thing, but I say yes. I say yes. That's all he's looking for, a step of faith. And watch what God will do through you. And when you're on the other side of this thing, and you look back, because you can't really see it till you get on the other side of it and you got perspective, but you'll look back and you'll say, thank God I took that step of faith, because there would be no testimony without it. I would never have gotten to see his faithfulness like I did without it. I would never have gotten to testify to his faithfulness and his goodness without it. Take that step. You won't regret it. And even if you miss it, he's faithful to redirect you. So just do it. Just do the darn thing. That's what I'm encouraging you with.